Joshua Shaddox. This is Liberty University's History US 512, the American Revolution discussion board post number 3, and this week we are talking about the Thomas Jefferson legacy. I think that Jefferson is a perfect example of historiography because with each new era, the story of Thomas Jefferson changes. Not necessarily the facts, although new information has been discovered over the years, but just the way that Jefferson is interpreted. There are so many facets to Thomas Jefferson that it would be impossible to discuss all of them, and so I want to focus my video simply on the religious aspect of Thomas Jefferson. I can remember as a child, elementary student, and maybe through high school even, that all of our founding fathers, I remember there was this idea that all of them were Christians. We were a Christian nation. We had been founded on Christian principles. And then it seems like in maybe the last decade or two, there's been a push to change all that, to remove the religious aspect, especially the Christian aspect from it. And now we have a new Thomas Jefferson and a new Benjamin Franklin and so many others that they talk about now. And it's an interesting phenomenon to consider. And I can't say that the new Jefferson is truly a false Jefferson. However, what I can say is it does seem like when the pendulum swings, it's swinging away from one extreme to the other in a lot of cases, and I think that may be the case here. What I can say about Thomas Jefferson is that as a pastor and a preacher of the gospel of Jesus Christ, I don't agree with the Thomas Jefferson religious aspects that I've read about and I've studied about. But let's be frank, if I could quote a former professor, no one believes that they're a heretic. And so I would say that's probably true of Jefferson. However, I think the evidence is quite clear. I mean, it's hard to be considered the infidel by your political rivals unless you demonstrate characteristics that are contrary to traditional Christianity, which is what happened to him in this 1800 presidential bid. However, I can also say that Martin Luther was not in line with the traditional church of his era. So I'm not saying that that is absolutely the characteristic of whether or not you're a true Christian or not, but I think the evidence bears it out. Jefferson considered himself to be a disciple of the doctrines of Jesus, and I think that is that's the key to what kind of a Christian Jefferson was. He said that he was a real Christian. However, he constructed his own Bible. He took out all the miracles because he didn't believe in miracles, and he took out a lot of the stuff that he didn't agree with. And so what it boiled down to is the life and morals of Jesus, and it was more a moralistic study of good behavior. As a good statesman, he would want people who had a good moral character. In fact, that's really the Christianity, if you can even call it that Jefferson embraced. If you're not familiar with archive.org as a history student, you need to get on there and find it, because a lot of these old works, like Jefferson and Wesley and some of the others, if you want to read their actual works, you can find it on archive.org. Not a plug for them, just telling you it's a resource that's out there. But this book by Jefferson, his Bible, is on there as well. Mark Knoll does a really good, albeit abbreviated, summation of the religious Jefferson and his history of Christianity in America, and it's in my citation, so you can look that up if you don't have it. Jefferson considered himself to be a Christian, but again, it's that moralistic attitude. However, the best legacy that we have from Jefferson, especially as a Christian, is the fact that we have religious freedom. That's what Jefferson fought so hard to protect, and I think that whether or not we agree if he was a deist or a Christian, we can agree that Jefferson protected our rights to not be constrained to a specific religious dogma, but to be able to free think and truly examine ourselves whether we're in the faith, as Paul would write to the Corinthians. And so I think that is a wonderful legacy to have left behind. That way I can choose whether I'm right or wrong, and I'm free to study and learn, and I think that that is important for us. So that's my Jefferson on religion, and I look forward to your comments. Thank you.